Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. And this journey is going to start with a yap sesh. I'm going to make an intro, basically, that I'll put at the beginning of all of the readings. Honestly, because I just cannot repeat myself 12 or 24 times. My throat and body refuse. So anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna put the timestamp in the description. So if you're just kind of like you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. And it's actually kind of funny. Like I keep stutter. It's actually like I have a lot of energy in my body, and it's like it's all trying to come out at one time, and it's like making me stutter. I've had to redo this video. This is the fourth time so far, because it's like my mind goes faster than my mouth, and then I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, what am I saying versus like what am I thinking? Like, they're just like not lining up, which is interesting. Like there is actually a new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow, which is actually right on top of my Neptune. So maybe that's why. And it's a sixth house. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I'll find a way to blame astrology for anything. So I'm hoping now that I said that out loud and that I got that energy out of me, that I can just kind of like ground myself and get through this so that we can get on to the readings. So I don't know what I've already said already, but I will put the timestamp in the description so you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. The first thing that I want to yap about, or that I want to share with you, is that I've decided, it's like I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks, but I haven't actually said it out loud. So it like keeps coming out weird, but whatever, like, well, it'll come out right at some point. But there's an offering that I want to extend to you. It's a 2-card spread, or a 2-card draw. The first card is the door, which is, the obstacle, the path, the, thing that you're coming up against, the opportunity, whatever, that type of thing. All the things that we think about when we think doors, right? It's either opening, closing, anywhere in between. It's something to also like step through and have curiosity around. And then the second card is going to be the key, which is the guidance or advice for how to move through it. And it will be written, and it'll be $3.33. Basically, how it will work is that you will Venmo me $3.33 and provide your email address in the description. And if you don't feel comfortable putting your email address in the description, I will provide my email address, and you can send me a screenshot of the payment. And then, of course, I'll have your email address to respond to. I'm trying to make it like as least complicated as possible. And I think that like if you make the thing private, then nobody else will see your information anyway. It'll be obviously just between me and you. So anyway, $3.33. It's a 2-card spread. Once I receive your, notification of your Venmo, then I'll shuffle the cards. I'll pull 2 cards for you, and I'll write down basically like what comes to me. And literally anything that does come to me. So there's not necessarily like a limit on how long or short it's going to be. I do intend to get those back to you within 24 to 48 hours, or shorter than that. I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a buffer there. And I'm going to be offering these for basically as long as it feels good, like for as long as the energy is there. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment, or you can reach out to me as well through email. Like I'll have my email in the description. Instagram works too. But yeah, so that's the most important part. I'm glad I actually got it out this time, though, and I'm trusting that it makes sense. The other thing for this reading, we're going to be doing a what is ending and what is beginning. And I was kind of like stewing or whatever, with the thought of doing 2026 readings. And I was just kind of like it just didn't feel quite right. Like, I don't want to do like a 12-month overview, because who remembers that? Like, who remembers that? I couldn't even tell you if what I heard or saw like in any of the year ahead readings that like I listened to or watched in for 2025, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time or even like dedicate a lot of time to going month by month. So then I was like, well, I could just maybe do just a general spread, what's coming, what's going, like what's going to be the overall vibe. That didn't quite feel. Anyway, it finally came to me last night that I'm sure you've probably heard in multiple places that 2025 is a 9-year, which is completion, right? And with that means that 2026 is a 1-year, which is obviously a new beginning. So it's, about clearing out cycles, what cycle is truly coming to an end, and what are we now, I want to say blossoming into, which is interesting. Like blossom never like crossed my mind, but it's like, what are we now I almost kind of like, I keep getting this image of like a waterfall of, it's literally just cycling into the next thing. Like it doesn't necessarily even feel like a big stop and a big start. But it's almost just like that, the natural progression or even transition. Like, what are we transitioning into? And I also, whoops, mother of pearl. I looked up like what were the last 9s and 1 years, right? So the last 1 year would have been 2017. And let me just give you an example for myself, because I also think it's really cool to just reflect on where you are, where you were, and also even just to kind of have like dates ish, or in this case, years, like, to think back to 2017, for instance, which was a 1 year. And what was going on for you in 2017, but also what was going on for you in 2016, because that would have been a 9-year, right? And for me, in 2016, I got married. I'm pretty sure I got married during a Venus retrograde, which is not good. And and I want to say maybe a Pisces eclipse. I want to say, I can't remember for sure, but whatever, that was 2016. In 2017, I left that marriage. I put down my soul dog, the dog that like grew up with me, basically, kind of, I got her when I was, I think I was 19 when I got her. And when I put her down, I was 30 something. I'm like, what's dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. That is so annoying. Let's see. I can't do math that fast. 34. In 2017. I was actually 33. I had to put her down in April. My birthday was in May. And actually, 5 days after my birthday is when I separated from my husband. And then a week after that is when I moved out. Didn't look back. I moved 3 times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 times. Within 6 months. I moved into the place that I've been in since then. Like, so I've been here for the last, 8 years, 9, however long, however long that's been. And yeah, so that was my that was my 2016 and 17 actually too, which is interesting, is that going back even further, 2008 would have been the previous 1 year. And in 2008, I got my first like college degree. I got an associate's in graphic design. I got my first like real adult job, which was terrible, but I was independent, on my own with that. And then, so, that would have been a 1 year. I got that degree. I got that job. I can't remember if like anything else major happened that year. I don't think so. I might have moved like closer to that job. I just can't remember if it was that year or the following year. But also, okay, so 2008 would have been a 1 year. Then 2016 was a 9 year, which would have ended, that cycle. And in 2016, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. So it's just kind of interesting how, within that period of time, I got like 2 degrees and also like really officially ended my college or, like continuing education or higher education career, basically, because I don't think I would go back I've thought about going back for like, like an ultrasound technician or like x-rays or, something like that. But I just don't think I can. So anyway, it's interesting, so yeah, I mean, this is also an invitation for you to just kind of reflect and, where are you now? Where have you been? Did anything major happen in those years? The 1 year prior to 2008 would have been 1999, which is kind of funny because there was like that whole Y2K, kind of thing that was like happening around that time. I mean, obviously that was, the year 2000, but it was like the freaking out, also Prince has a song, 1999, hello. The prior one would have been 1990, and then 1981, 1972, 1963. So basically, subtract 9 from there or add 9, whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to look back and also even just to like kind of welcome in a fresh beginning and to recognize too, like where you are, and maybe there are patterns or relationships, behaviors, thoughts, jobs, careers, whatever, that you have released or healed, from, and that's creating the energy or allowing the energy for you to move forward, and like I said, like transition into something new. And also, like, I don't know if it is just me or if it's like a collective thing of feeling ready for it. Like, I think I mentioned maybe the curiosity thing, which I think curiosity also breeds excitement. Just like being open, trusting ourselves, really just staying connected to our own truth. So, I haven't quite like necessarily figured out what the spread is going to look like. I think what we're going to do is pull some cards for like what is completed. Maybe I should write this down. So one pile, what's completed or ending. It's not even like leaving. I think completed is a good word. And then pile 2 is what's I keep wanting to like write starting, like what's starting. But again, it doesn't feel like a stop start. And I just cannot think of the word that, like, I mean, transition is like coming through, but it's like, what is another word? And like, do we look up the thesaurus? What's unfolding? Taking shape. Coming into focus, maybe. Activating. Okay. I mean, we'll see what words end up finding their way in, like, once I'm shuffling the cards. But like, what are we, like, I keep also wanting to say like falling into, because like I was saying, I keep seeing this like waterfall. Which also like feels very Fool card. Taking that leap, going with the flow, trusting. Also even just the water thing with intuition, and even like trusting like those big emotions. And I'm thinking even too, like the actual waterfall part, right, where it's the water actually falling. That to me almost kind of feels like the transition part, right? Because it's kind of like there's a direction that the water is heading into, right? But there's not necessarily control of it either. There's a direction and trust. Like, so honestly, I even fucking love that. Wow. I think these readings are actually going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into it. And also, I just want to say, how cute is this effing tarot bag, dude? I'm going to put the Etsy shop of the girl who creates these in the description as well. She has 3 different sizes of these. I only have this size, but I have 3 or 4 of these all in different fabrics, but this one holds like this size of a tarot deck, but it'll hold a larger one. Like it's almost like oracle deck size. But look at the, you can choose 2 different fabrics. I'll keep a deck in there, and then I'll keep a selenite wand in there also, which is, it's like perfect. There's a clip, oh, I'm obsessed with these. And they're not just necessarily for tarot decks, but also, like it holds its shape. Like, bro, look at this. So cute. So anyway, we're using the Light Seer Tarot because honestly, like this is probably like my all-time favorite deck. And I'm also so glad that it said yes to me to do these readings, because before every reading I do, for YouTube readings, I'll ask, do you want to do all of the readings? Because you got to do them all. But I shuffle the deck and either a yes card comes out or a no card. And I honor that, because we're all about consent over here. So anyway, I'm so glad that the Light Seers Tarot agreed to do these readings for us, because again, like I think that they're going to be beautiful. And I think that's all that I want to say for now. So let's jump into the reading. Great. So this is a reading for Pisces, wherever Pisces is in your chart. As a quick recap, just in case you didn't watch the intro, we're going on the left side over here is what was mastered in 2025. And then on the right side is what is unfolding in 2026. I know you guys got to be so ready for Neptune and Neptune and Saturn to come out of Pisces. That's hilarious because the World card came out in the same exact position for Aquarius. But yeah, how many? That's too many. That is too many. We just want 2 more. We want 3 cards for each section. For Pisces. Is this? Okay. Okay, so we have the World card. We have the Page of Swords. We have the 5 of Swords. Interesting. Yeah, this feels like confusion, or like too much information, maybe even considering too many. There honestly could have been a lot of things that have been discovered or like brought to light in the last 3 years, but also in the last 14. I mean, I know like Neptune, Neptune is the modern rulership of Pisces. So it technically does like okay in Pisces, but still since early 2012. So interesting. Hello? Did we need to go all the way to the ground, or? Interesting. Let me make sure. I guess I want to say that I don't think that we'll see what else like comes through, but I just don't know if you're gonna like kind of get the clarity that you want. I also, I think it's like one of those things. Man, I keep hearing in my head, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, right? And it really is like this feeling of you will believe what you want to believe. Look at all these swords cards, though, too. We have 3 swords cards on the table. Let's start over here. I keep like kind of veering over here because I definitely I like want to get into this energy. Halfway it's like because I keep looking at this like flame here in the Ace of Swords, but let's start on what was mastered in 2025. Like I said, like this has this feeling of too much information, or just almost in the sense of truths that were coming out that shifted things. Either, like shifted your beliefs, shifted the way that you thought, like shifted, the mindset. I mean, in this page of swords, they're reading this book. There's these light bulbs that are kind of like balloons, right? And then they're crossing this opening, like walking on a sword. So it's like a tightrope, and it's like, it's almost overstimulating to me. Like, and almost like, because I keep feeling a tightness in my chest, but it's like the tightness in my chest is coming from the stimulation in my brain, right? It's like it's the way that I am perceiving that is causing the tightness, like in my chest, which of course, right? I mean, like that's how it works. Like, the mindset that we have, the perceptions of our realities, that we have, our ego, does influence our emotions and literally our body, as a whole. This is also too, like, if you have been in a period of confusion, conflict, just even to like a battle of wits, whether that's with yourself or with somebody else. There is this completion that's happening here because we have the world card. So regardless of like what it is, like there is some level of completion, whether it's, the full truth is out there, whether like you've been given the opportunity to see the truth, or even to like understand the truth as well. This could be, you yourself, seeing a truth within yourself, of course. It could be seeing the truth of a situation, a relationship, a job. because what I keep looking at when I'm like staring at these cards over here, in this world card, there's this yellow flare happening in here, right? And she's like in the middle of this snake thing. And then over here is the yellow flare. And then this card is majority yellow. This could have like really been a year of you deciding how, again, like how you are going to like navigate the truth or accept the truth, even, like learning certain things, because I mean, they have this book here. So, intellect, knowledge, they're literally standing on the Ace of Swords, which is the sword of truth. There's these light bulbs to me are like aha moments. I mean, it doesn't look like the light bulbs are actually on. I love that imagery though. I wonder if those are hawks. What is the meaning of a hawk? Of course. Well, we know that they're hawks now. Vision, clarity, focus, and spiritual messages, representing the ability to see the big picture while honing in on details, acting as a powerful messenger between worlds, and embodying strength, courage, and swift action, which, like I said, like even with Neptune, right? Like, it is the modern rulership of Pisces, but when people talk about Neptune, they talk about like illusions and confusion and not seeing things like very clearly. Let's actually, Neptune astrology. Spirituality, dreams, illusion, compassion, blurring boundaries, connecting us to the divine, arts, and the subconscious. Because, of course, Pisces is the 12th house ruler. Empathy, higher consciousness. Blurs reality. Promotes unconditional love and a sense of wellness with others. It's like one of those things of, because as soon as I read that, promotes unconditional love and a sense of oneness with others, it's like giving too many chances. Rose-colored glasses was what I was going to say before I looked up the meaning of Neptune. Obsessions, illusions, which is hilarious because we have the fucking devil card out here. What am I looking at? Speaking of, this said, let's see, obsessions, illusions, subconscious mind. Here we go. Dreams and ambitions, addictions and crime, the necessary elements to be worshipped in society. That's, yeah. I mean, like I said, I was going to say rose-colored glasses. This could also even be avoiding the truth. And I'm really only saying that because it is paired with a 5 of Swords. Also, like I said, like these light bulbs aren't on. They're there, right? I mean, they literally have them in their hand, but it's not wanting to see it, like for whatever reason. Because honestly, the fucking truth is hard to wrap our heads around sometimes. It's not all sunshine and fucking rainbows when it comes to the truth. It is, though, fucking important. It's like the most important thing is truth. And that's why a lot of people put up personas, and they put on masks and blah blah blah, right? Like, because the truth is vulnerable. So, like I said, I mean, it could be the mask is coming off, and it's like one of those things where it's almost like you cannot deny. And where I was going with this, right? Like there's this yellow flare here, there's this yellow flare over here. They're literally like, this to me is like being in that flare, like in the in between, or which is kind of hilarious that it's like the middle card. But I do think that this is like, first of all, I mean, the fucking odds of these cards coming out with this like yellow flare on them, and then this card to be all yellow, like, yeah, that's why I love tarot. But it's like this is being between a completion and how you perceive it, or what you're scared of, or what this person is holding their head like they're overwhelmed, or they have a headache or something, right? It's like when you do that, when you physically just kind of like hold your head like that, it's like usually out of stress. But then there's this person back here that's like, Jack on the Titanic, like at the helm of the boat or whatever. He's like, I'm the king of the world. There's blood down here. I think that there is something that is tried really hard to be concealed. Or you are trying really hard to not see the truth of. Whatever that is, in whatever aspect that is, because I don't know, like, I mean, that could have to do with yourself, because again, right, Neptune and Saturn have been, if you're a Pisces rising, in your first house of yourself and your own identity. And what created that? Like, why are you the way that you are? Like, what beliefs do you have? Where do they come from, right? Like, what are they a product of? What belief did you attach, or what meaning did you attach to an experience, a trauma, a hurt, a success? Is it still true? Like, I think too, like with Saturn, like if you are giving your discipline and your steadfastness, whatever that word is, like if you are, almost like kind of holding on to something too tight, Saturn is going to be like, I'm going to make that shit feel so bad for you. Like, I am going to put my foot on your neck. Especially if you are holding on to something, like if you are holding on to a lie because the truth fucking sucks. But like this Page of Swords, it's like there was a good effort to make it appear that you were looking for the truth. Maybe this was also distraction. I mean, she's reading this book, right? I mean, like it could have even been distraction, escapism too. But like it's like when you come out of the flare or the wrinkle even, right? Like I just kind of got like a wrinkle in time, you're just like right back in it. And the truth gets to exist back here while you are like, no, no. So interesting. I keep also like, I keep trying to, like see these differently. Even like, what are crows? Crows, I know are, change. Transformation, change, wisdom, and mystery. Often seen as divine messengers between worlds. That's what, right? Like we were literally talking about between worlds. I also halfway wonder too if like truths keep like coming to you in dreams. But it's like, it's really hard to know if it was just a dream or if it's your intuition. But that's kind of like, what I mean, like with Saturn, like it'll find a way to get in there. And if it's when you're unconscious and you can't really, I mean, you could, like lucid dreaming is a thing. But it's like you have less control, like less, rosy glasses in there, representing both endings and beginnings and good fortune warnings tied to ancient knowledge, intuition, and cycles of death and rebirth. They can signify the need of spiritual growth and adaptability or bringing insight, sometimes linked to deities or ancestors acting as guides through time. And there's one just like squawking in his face. We have hawks over here. We have crows over here. Interestingly enough, like a couple weeks ago, I was sitting here and I looked outside and on a light pole across the street, there were 2 hawks. I think they were red-tailed hawks. 2 of them. And I think I still have the picture. Let me make a note of that because I'm like, I'll put it on the screen. And then there was a crow sitting right next to it, and eventually like the crow would like hop closer to the hawk. Like it was just kind of curious, But it was just like kind of crazy to see those 2 on the same light pole, you know? I don't know. But then over here, we have the Two of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Devil card. The Ace of Wands in reverse, the Devil card in reverse. And reversals for me have become internal processes versus like being the opposite meaning of the upright. I mean, I guess it could be that in some cases, but most times it feels like more of an internal process versus like an external expression. This really feels like getting your spark back. But not through being out there and doing stuff. And yeah, it's like starting on like the inside, wanting to feel that first before like having an external expression of it. Because also too, it's like you have to decide what that spark even looks like. Like, what is it? What starts it? You know, like how do you get it going? Like how do you want to get it going? Because no doubt that is changed here, you know. This could even also too, I don't know if I said it or not, but this is also like a very big like transformation, even in like your perception of yourself, the truth of yourself, like what you accept as truth and like what you don't accept, even like the truths that you accept and the ones that you don't, which I think I did kind of say, but yeah, like this whole process, it doesn't have to involve, of course, like other people or, you know, again, like external like things. It could definitely be just recognizing that something has shifted within you. Even, you know, the amount of bullshit that you allow. And why you allow it. Because like I said, right, like with Neptune, the rose-colored glasses, it's like giving people too much of a benefit of the doubt. But in the process of doing that, like it doesn't feel good to you. You're the one that's like left feeling, I kind of feel like I got the short end of the stick there. Or, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a boundary was crossed, but they're not like terrible people. They're not actually like harming me, but for whatever reason, like that doesn't feel good. You know, it's like it's got my haunches raised or whatever, you know, like just something is not quite right. But you know what I mean? So like it could have even been a process like that. Like where in your life are you just kind of discarding or just not even allowing truth, you know, to come in because you are just overlooking things. I think there was again, you know, a completion with that. There was some sort of like realization here, like with that. The Two of Swords is a decision. Well, it's indecision. There's two paths back here. Again, with the crows. This really too, you know, because they are blindfolded and it's almost like, you know, it's taking out one of your senses so that you have to rely on your intuition. You have to rely on like your other senses versus your sight and what you are seeing. And again, even like with the Ace of Wands and the Devil card being in the reverse, like this is very, very much like an internal process. it really almost even kind of feels about like tethering back to your soul, or like back to your truth. Like really establishing a connection back to yourself that we all lose. Like there's that book called The Untethered Soul. That might be something to read or listen to, but it happens to all of us, but a lot of people don't recognize that, or again, like they don't want to admit it. It takes a lot of fucking truth and a lot of honesty with yourself, and having difficult realizations to reestablish that connection. But it's also, I mean, it is the most important thing that you could ever fucking do for yourself, especially being a Pisces. Like, if you have gone against your boundaries, if you have gone against your intuition, if you have been just too much in your head and too much in your ego, right? Because your ego is like the one that's fearful, and the one that's making decisions out of, fear or lack or scarcity and habit even too, right? Like, I mean, it's not all bad, but it's just like one of those things. I got distracted by looking at another bird. There's a northern flicker that will literally hang like almost upside down on this one bird feeder just to like get some bird seed. And I'm like, bro, there's like a tray literally right under it that it could just stand in, but it would rather hang upside down, which honestly is maybe too like a message for this reading. It's like you would literally rather make things difficult, not on purpose though. Like I do, it's not on purpose, but instead of owning it, or instead of, because it's also one of those things of like, if you saw the truth, if you accepted it, if you saw it for literally what it was, right? What would that change for you? Like what would it, how would it impact your life? And that's the thing, right? It's like we start thinking like big picture, and this is going to change everything. And I would rather just stick a pin in it and keep doing what I'm doing, because that's what's safe, that's what's comfortable. That's also maybe too, that dream or that image or that, how you saw your life going. And if you saw some other truth, and it's like, oh, this was my dream, but it doesn't feel good. This isn't as fulfilling as I thought it was going to be. And I didn't really have like a backup plan, or I didn't have like a plan B, or I don't want to end up like my parents, or I don't want to end up like whatever, So instead, I'll just put my little rose-colored glasses on. Interesting too that like this is all like purples and pinks and but yeah, anyway, so I'm not even sure if what I was just talking about was all this over here, or I don't know. It's all like kind of blending together, but and in this devil card, which is Capricorn, we're in Capricorn season now. Like the devil here is like handing the soul back. Right? Like it's almost like it's yours. But the cost is letting go of something that's toxic, letting go of something that has, like a limiting belief. Obsessions, addictions, of course, are in there. The things that control us, or that we almost even kind of feel helpless to. We never are, but we can convince ourselves of that, though, because also that's comfortable. That's easier to accept than to accept that I am the product of my own suffering, Or I am the cause, I should say, of my own suffering. I mean, a product and a cause of like cause and effect, right? And again, we all do that. But, Neptune and Saturn are moving into your second house, which is worth, possessions, materialism. This is personal worth, personal materials and resources. And that's, I said at the beginning, right? Like you can lead a horse to water. You can be shown the truth, but nobody can make you accept it, You can go kicking and screaming. But this over here, it really does like feel like really like I was saying, reconnecting to your own fire, your own passion. What is that? Where did it get lost, right? I mean, how has it changed? No doubt. What are the things that light you up, that get your fire going? Or, and this isn't just like going out and trying to find hobbies and trying, like all of that shit. I mean, it definitely can be, but this is just more internal work. Like, really, how do you foster and how do you care for that fire within you? Where is it? Like where did it get, smothered, or like where did it get lost? I mean, it's still there. It never goes away. Just, there it is. I have this, I don't even know where this came from, but I have this thing that I'm playing with. But yeah, like where'd it go? And how do you want to get it back? Like what kind of logs are you throwing on there? I'm sure you get the point. I feel like I'm just kind of like beating a dead horse with that. But speaking of horses, what's up with horses? Maybe there's something to do with horses and equine therapy, or just being around horses. Bring me with you, because that was like on my vision board for 2025, was to like get back around horses. And I did not do it. Although like intention was my word of the year. And I didn't even like, first of all, remember. Second of all, it didn't even become clear to me or that I even understood what intention meant until the end of October. So I'm just going to use it as like my next year's word too, like, because now that I actually know what it is and I actually like embody it, so anyway, yeah, maybe there's something with horses. I mean, if you have access to get around horses, it could just be watching horse videos on TikTok, because I do, and I love them. So I don't know, that counts. But yeah, it's like just kind of rediscovering that aspect of you again. Because also, interestingly enough, none of these cards are water. We have air and we have fire. We have the beginning of fire. And then we have earth. I mean, the world card has all of the elements on there. But overall, though, I mean, it is an earth card, right? Because it's the world. This really is really reclaiming yourself. And it may be doing that in the midst of outside chaos. I mean, these crows are just squawking around her head. That, to me, would be so overstimulating. How could you even possibly think? But that's the thing, right? Like, you don't think. That's not the point. There was a lot of thinking that was like happening over here, right? Over here, this is more feeling. This is more doing. This is more grounding. That's like the whole point is not to think, but to do, to really like tether back to yourself. I also even think too, like in the process of doing that, yeah. I haven't been doing this. Like, I think there was somebody else, maybe Virgo, I don't know, somebody else that I looked at the bottom of the deck. We have the Ten of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords. I feel like through this process, I think just naturally you're going to start accepting truths. And you're going to start accepting truths because you are connected back to yourself. Any of that fear, the scarcity, the lack, the concern of the truth changing things, that was coming from a place of insecurity anyway. And again, like I said, right? I really thought that this was the thing that I wanted, and I just cannot accept that it's not, because I didn't have a plan B, type of thing. And there is going to be this acceptance happening, but it's going to be more gradual, or just, it's not going to be this big aha, moment, or this big thing. The Ten of Swords is choosing, not to mention, look at these crows are now above her head. They're not squawking at her anymore, right? It's probably because the universe has been, or God, source, divine, your higher self, your intuition, whatever, has been yelling at you for fucking years about something. This is acceptance. This is mental clarity. This is moving forward. The Ace of Cups. Your cup being filled. There's this heart at the heart chakra. Feeling fulfilled, feeling purposeful, making connection, like having the emotional capacity to even want to connect with anything, with yourself, with other people. with, you know, creativity. You know, it's like it's wanting to do that because there's something that has been like a weight that's been lifted. We have the Ace of Swords over here. The only thing that we're missing is the Ace of Pentacles. So maybe it's not your job or your like location, or, you know. New perspective, truth. Like I said, you know, they were walking on the Ace of Swords to cross this opening here. This is now like holding the Ace of Swords. New perspectives, new understandings, a different way of even perceiving, you know, the Devil card. Beautiful. All right. I'm leaving it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.